Salamat, Alex. Good evening.
Good.
Kumusta kayo lahat dyan?
Ayos lang.
Okay? Ako okay kasi champion kami.
Congrats, coach. Congrats.
Yun ang sarap pag-champion, di ba?
Congrats.
Gabi, pag nanalo ka, pag tulog mo, champion. The next day, pag gising mo, oh, champion ka pa rin. Ayos. But I know that it doesn't last. It's very fleeting. But sabi nga ni Alex, totoo yun. One of the things I'm proudest about is my willingness and desire to continue growing and to continue learning. Aside from the certifications na sinabi ni Alex, hindi niya itatanong, I'm also enrolled in the European Head Coaches Academy. So, ang klase namin, alauna, alas 2 ng madaling araw, kasi sa Europe yun eh. And we're doing very fundamental things, but we're also doing and learning a lot of advanced things. So, andito ako, I started coaching. First head coaching job ko sa Pure Foods, 30 years na ako nagko-coach, 30 plus years. And still, I am continuing to learn and to grow and to develop my craft. That's why I hope that I can inspire you to do the same with my story. But the first thing I want to say, I want to champion is your presence this afternoon. Hindi ko lang kung ba't kayo nandito, kung may somebody twisted your arm, pinilit na kayo dito. But the fact is that you're here, you're present. For me, presence is a big thing because when you are present, you put yourself in a 50% position to succeed. So you're all here, you're present. Give yourselves a round of applause for putting yourself in a 50% position to succeed. Now, being present doesn't automatically guarantee success, right? But I find the reverse is always true. That is, if you are not present, then you have no chance. So you're here, you're present. And speaking of presence, I want to begin by talking a little bit about leadership presence. As coaches, for us to be effective coaches, we all have to develop leadership presence. Now, if we had a whole workshop, 3-4 hour workshop, we can go down to the nitty-gritty and details of leadership presence. But for this afternoon, I just want you to leave. I just want to ask a question that you can all reflect on. Dear coaches, when you come into a room, when you enter your practice, and your players see you, or the people around you see you, are you good news or are you bad news? Presence is about a vibe, an energy that you bring in. Wala pa kayong sinasabi. What is the body language? What is the message that your body language is relaying and conveying to your people? What an important part of a coach's arsenal. Your leadership presence. And a lot of times, pag inisip natin leadership presence, iniisip lang natin yung panglabas. Kasi presence, what is the outward appearance? But what I have learned is that our presence is driven by what is inside of us. What is inside of us shows up on the outside. Yun ang pinanggagalingan ng leadership presence. It's the same thing as success in sports, in basketball, in coaching. Of course, talent is important. Skills are important. Players natin, importante lahat yan. But at our level, at the PBA, at the elite level, talent only gets you invited to the party. Talent only gets you invited to the table. What differentiates the participation and success is mental toughness. And just like leadership presence, mental toughness comes from within. I'm going to cite the work of this author, Steve Magnus. And sabi ni Steve Magnus, mental toughness isn't loud. Toughness is not loud. Toughness is quiet, deliberate. It is built. This afternoon, I'm going to share my thoughts on what it takes to build that kind of mental toughness. And can we have the... yan. So, for me, mental toughness, not for us. I know you're all here. Naging coach kayo because you're mentally tough. But how do we coach it? And for me, ang tawag ko dyan is mastering that inside, mastering the inner game. How we can build resilience, confidence, and focus in our players, in our athletes. And like I said, first question, are you good news? Are you bad news? Okay? Leadership presence. And the important thing, like I said, leadership presence from within, mental toughness as well, is all about the inside game. Why does it matter? I'm sure meron kayo nakikita niyo yan. May players kayo, kumpleto, Ricardo, complete skills, size, ability, speed, jumping ability, but come game time, he cannot perform. Come game time, he freezes. Favorite saying namin ni Jong, meron tayong shooter dito. Yung shooter natin, shooter na hindi makashoot. Classic player yun, right? Galing sa practice. I'm sure you're familiar. A lot of players, very good practice players. But how can they not translate it to the game? On the other hand, here are some players, maybe they're not the most talented. Maybe they're not the most athletically skilled or gifted. Pero pag game time, di mo matalo. Pag game time, hindi nagkakamali. What is the difference? I would submit it is all about mental toughness. And two stories to start off. I'm sure most of you here, lahat kayo napanood yung World Championships 2 years ago, nung ginanap dito sa Araneta, Coach Jong and I. Obviously, we lost our first 3 games and now we're eliminated from further competition. Hindi na tayo papasok sa second round. We've lost our chance to the Olympics. But we had one more game to play. And we're going to play China. And alam nyo naman yun, di ba? Sa international, tatawagin nila lahat ng players. Lalabas yung mukha nila sa big screen, sa Araneta. For Gilas Pilipinas, Jordan Clarkson, siyempre palakpakan. Dwight Ramos, palakpakan. And coaching Gilas Pilipinas, Chot Reyes. And the entire Araneta Coliseum started booing. Darkest, most painful moment in my career. I wouldn't wish that to my worst enemy. And I hope none of you go through that. Di bali sa akin, sanay na ako dun eh. Pero paglingin ko sa likod ko sa nakaupo yung asawa ko tsaka yung my daughter, they were in tears. Diba? Ano, kawawa na, wala naman silang kinalaman dito. So when that was happening, we were able to recover, gather ourselves, and we coached a great game. We beat China by 20 plus points, giving us our best finish in World Cup history, and got us a slot for the Olympic qualifiers, where Coach Tim Cohn had a great run. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. So after the game, tinanong ako ng media, Coach, how were you able to cope with that? Paano mo nagawa na binuka na ng mga tao, pero na-coach mo pa rin yung team, nanalo pa tayo, tinalo pa natin China, tinambakan pa natin. A lot of those things, the reason there, yun ang pag-uusapan natin yun. Second story, we're down 3-2 in the finals against the mighty Ginebra team. Their first 5 is all Gilas national players. Hindi pa kasama dun si Holt, si Abarrientos, at saka si Ahanmisi. Really good, strong team coached by the best, the GOAT, Coach Tim Cohn. And now we are down 3-2. We don't have Jason Castro, who was the finals MVP last conference. How were we able to get the team together to believe that we could make it and end up being victorious? A lot of things, of course, came into that equation, but what we're going to talk about today are the concepts of resilience, confidence, and focus. The 3 things which I believe allowed me to get past that very unfortunate incident that happened to me, and also helped my team get past a 3-2 deficit to win our most recent championship last week. Thank you. So, the 3 core principles or pillars, and if you have a chance to buy the book of Steve Magnus, called Win the Inside Game. Steve Magnus was the whistleblower. Siya yung nagsumbong when they were doing a lot of funny stuff sa Nike program about athletes and running. They were doing a lot of different tests. Siya yung whistleblower. He had to go through a lot of adversity, and the lessons he learned, he wrote in that book, Win the Inside Game. Sabi niya, it's all about resilience. How can we teach? How can we coach mental toughness? Okay, so palagi natin isipin, 2-4-1, how you can develop your own mental toughness, but also how can you coach it? Because in the end, that's what we do. That's what we are paid for, to be able to coach, right? Hindi porket magaling tayong basketball player, magaling tayong coach. It doesn't follow. I'm sure you know this, right? So how can I pride myself in our ability to teach coaches like you and executives how to coach these things that we're talking about. So, resilience, confidence, focus. Right there. How can we build resilience? Okay? So resilience is about staying strong through setbacks. It's about being able to recover after significant adversity. So pag inisip natin resilience, isipin natin yung bundok, the mountain. When we talk about confidence, let's think about the trophy. And when we talk about focus, let's think about the target. Kaya nandyan yung tatlong elements na yan, so that there's a visual representation of resilience, confidence, and focus. Okay? So, anong role natin? What is our role in building and developing the resilience of our people? Okay? Number 1, redefine toughness. And like I said earlier, toughness isn't about the guy na maingay or very extroverted. Toughness is inside. And there's the myth about toughness. Okay? Sabi nila, toughness is about, sige, tira, push. You're against the wall, still, go, push, push, push. Go through pain at all costs. That's a myth. Okay? The reality, the fact, the truth, toughness is about your ability to adapt and stay in control under pressure. So start to rethink about your concept of toughness. There's nothing wrong with hard work, but there is a lot to be said about being able to give your players a break. Speaking of that, nakikita nyo doon, recovery. So we lost Game 5. That was on a Sunday. 2 Sundays ago, talo kami Game 5. We scored the lowest output, 66 points lang yata kami sa Game 5. So we have 2 days to practice. Monday, Tuesday, Game 6, Wednesday. I decided to give our players the day off. After Game 5 on Sunday, I told my players, no practice tomorrow. Get your minds out of basketball. I am a certified flow expert. I am a certified flow coach. How to get maximum performance. And to be able to operate at your maximum best, at your peak, you have to learn the principle of recovery. If there are strength and conditioning coaches here, you understand what I mean. So, coaches, there's nothing wrong with 2-hour, 3-hour practices. That's fine. But make sure you build recovery periods. Make sure you give your players time to step back and separate from their identity as players. Our players, they need to go out and be someone else. So I said on Monday, don't come to practice. Walang practice, go and be a father. Go and be a brother. Go and be a son. One day, Hollis Jefferson had his mother here from the States. One day, go and be a son to your mom. This is the principle of recovery, about our ability to do other things and to diversify. Our players are not only players. And as coaches, we have to give them that opportunity to be fully who they are. What I find when you do that, you are building their resilience. So, number 1, think of recovery. Second, normalize struggle. Tell your players before the game, in the finals, before game 1, I already told the players, mahirap ito. This is going to be perhaps the hardest thing we've ever done. Playing a team as strong as Ginebra, they were averaging 118 points in the semis, 7 players in double figures, and kami without our top point guard, Jason Castro. I said, this is going to be hard. And so, fortunately, we won game 1, then we lost game 2, we won game 3, we lost game 4, and then we lost game 5. And that's exactly what I said. Of course, mahirap. Di ba pinag-usapan natin to? So, to build resilience, you have to normalize the struggle. Mahirap ang ating gagawin. When we're with Gilas, with Coach Chong, I always tell the players, of course may pressure. You're wearing Pilipinas across your chest. Of course there's pressure. Eh kung ayaw nyo ng pressure, ito kayo maglaro sa Interbarangay, doon walang pressure. And the same thing I told the players, you're here, you're talk and text, we have a proud tradition. You're going for the championship. Of course, it is hard. So, second thing, talk about recovery. Number 2, okay, normalize the struggle. Let your players know and anticipate how hard it's going to get. And when things get really, really hard, you have to be able to reinforce that message to say, sinabi ko sa inyo, di ba? Of course, it's going to be hard. Okay? The key is, what are we going to do? That is now where you teach, go back to the process. So when we lost game 5, we were not thinking about winning the championship. We were not even thinking about game 7. We were only thinking about what do we need to do in game 6 to give us a better chance to win. Going back to our process, not worried about the outcome. In our team, sa Talk and Text, and even when I was with Gilas, we never talked about winning a tournament or winning a championship. Our only objective, to be the hardest working, best conditioned team. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng hashtag HWBCT. That is printed in all our shirts sa Talk and Text. Our objective, to be the hardest working, best conditioned team. Because my belief is if we are the hardest working, best conditioned team, not group of players, best conditioned team, the championships and the winning will follow. Our focus is on the process, not in the outcome. Dear coaches, if you focus on the process, the outcome will follow. But a lot of times we get too focused on the outcome that we fill ourselves with a lot of unnecessary pressure and stress, and that prevents us from being at our best. So principles of recovery, understand what's the myth and what's the fact, normalize the struggle, focus on the process. How do you do it? Some techniques that you can use. Again, ang gusto ko, pag nag-talk ako sa inyo, bukas, the first practice you have, you can apply the principle right away. Okay? So, some techniques, I believe in the 3-breath reset. 3-breath reset. Breath work is a big thing in our team. Even when I was with Gilas, you can ask Coach Chong. We do breathing practice almost every practice and certainly before every game. And one of the most effective methods I've learned as a certified flow coach is how to breathe the right way. So there are different breathing protocols that we use. One is what we call the breath reset, where you have to make your exhale longer than your inhale. So I want to do a brief practice. Okay? 4 counts inhale, 2 counts hold, 8 counts or 6 counts exhale. So 4 plus 2, 6 plus 6, 12. You do 5 rounds, that's 1 minute. Try that and you will see how much more relaxed you can be. That allows you, when you double your exhale from your inhale, it activates our parasympathetic nervous system. That is where our relaxation and being centered comes from. So, one of the techniques you can use, you can teach your players. I don't know kung napapanood nyo sa PBA, during crunch time, you will see our players closing their eyes, doing breathing. When Last 2 minutes of a tight game, on timeouts, the first thing I will tell my players, breathe. Breathe. Even before any strategy, una ko sinasabi sa mga players, breathe. You've got to learn how to breathe the right way. Then, we have what we call the pause, reframe, respond. When there is adversity, or there is crisis, or there is something that the stimulus is coming your way. Sa akin, syempre ang number one stimulus, referee. Diba? May referee dyan, wala pa siyang ginagawa. Pag nakita ka pa na yung pagmumuka, talo na tayo dito. Wala tayong pag-asa. Right? Ganun talaga minsan eh. Okay? But I have learned now when there's a bad call, where there's a bad play, some bad break happens, to pause. Take 3 deep breaths and then reframe. Okay? What is this teaching me? Or there's a bad call, okay, di bale, babawiin niya later. Or there was a bad call, di bale, buti na lang 3 fouls pa lang siya. Reframe the incident. And then you can respond. The problem, stimulus and response, your ability to breathe gives that space. All you need is that space. Then you can choose to make a better response. The problem without that space, we react impulsively. And a lot of times, those impulsive reactions cause us a lot of harm and a lot of heartache later on. Okay, so building resilience, what is our role as coaches, and what techniques can you use? And these are all the mental things. The physical things, I'm sure alam niyo na yun, di ba? How can you build resilience? By making them go harder, making them go longer, making them do more difficult tasks. Okay? We do a lot of resilience work when we put constraints in our practice. Oh, no dribbles tayo ngayon. Okay? Oh, let's run a 5-minute scrimmage, only 1 dribble each. Or we go 5 against 6. 5 offense, 6 yung dumidepensa. These are the ways where we build resilience. We are finding ways to make our practice more difficult than the games. That's what that's what's called constraint practices. Okay? Constraint field activities. Put constraints on your players. So those are the basketball ways to build resilience. But I'm sure, alam niyo na yun, I'm not here to talk about those things. And here is an example. Nahuli ko to, nanonood lang ako sa TV. Before the Lakers last championship, before game 3 or 4, I caught this on my TV screen. And medyo binidyo ko. I don't know if I can play it. Yeah. Right before the finals, or right before game 4 of the finals, the last time that the Lakers won, we caught the best player in the world, the GOAT, doing exactly what we were just talking about.
Breathe.
Doing his breathing exercises. If LeBron James does it, why don't you do it? So, one thing to build resilience. Next, how can you grow confidence? Coach, paano ba namin bigyan ng kumpiyansa sa players namin? We cannot give our players confidence. Maski pag tutuwid tayo dito, we cannot give our players confidence. Only they can give that to themselves. Maski anong gawin natin, but what we can do is we can create an environment where we can grow their confidence. Ano ba yung totoong confidence? Fake confidence is, okay, you're cocky, you're arrogant, you're overconfident, but you're not really self-aware. You don't know what it is that you're doing. As against real confidence. Real confidence is built through preparation. I'm sure you know that. But preparation is not enough. Preparation and plus reflection. Ba't ba natin ginawa yun? Ano ba nangyari? Ba't nagkamali? Ba't nagka-problema? That reflection. So make sure, coaches, when you go to your practices and your drills, okay, you're making them go through work and you're preparing, you always augment it with the reflection. Why did we do this? Bakit natin ito ginagawa? And that's what gives players confidence. When nakikita nila, ito yung problema, ito yung target, ito yung objective natin. At ganawa natin to kasi gusto natin gano'n ang lumangyari. That gives our players confidence. What is your role as coaches? Okay? Celebrate progress, not perfection. What are the drills that you run in your practices that celebrate progress and not necessarily perfection? Because we will never reach perfect, right? Next, sabihin nyo, okay lang nervyusin. Even the best players get nervous. When you have butterflies in your stomach, that means you care. So when your players feel that, that's fine. Well, then that's okay. That means you're ready. That means you care. I'm sure you know the story of si Bill Russell ba yun? Before every game with the Celtics, he would go to the comfort room at the last second because he would throw up. Nasusuka siya sa nervyos. Okay? Ang aming, hindi ko nasasabi kung ano yung ginagawa ni RHJ, pero parang ganun din. But this is just normal for even elite athletes. Finally, what is your failure protocol? Anong ibig sabihin ng failure protocol? In your team, in your system, how do you treat failure? There are two types of failure. There is a stupid mistake, and there is the acceptable failure, or the intelligent failure. Encourage intelligent failures. Do not tolerate the stupid or preventable failures. For perfect example, merong Glenn Gubuntin, tumira, 3 points, wide open, but he missed. That's a failure. But we will say, good shot. Because for us, that's a preventable failure. We say, next time you're open, shoot it again. Pero, one time, dumating siya, sama ng laro niya, hindi siya makagalaw, pati depensa niya na-affected kasi na-late siya sa call time, hindi siya naka-warm up, hindi siya nakapag-mental preparation. That's a stupid failure. That is unacceptable. So what is your failure protocol? What are the failures or the mistakes that you will not tolerate? And what are the mistakes and failures that you will not only not tolerate, but you will encourage? You cannot have a team, and I tell this to even the organizations I work with, you cannot have innovation without risk, without failure. Hindi natin pwede sabihin sa players natin, oh, maging innovative kayo, be creative, think outside the box, pero huwag kayong magkakamali, ah. Hindi pwede yun. Failure is part of what we do as coaches. But what is your failure protocol? In our team, it is very clear. They know what is accepted and they know what it is that we do not tolerate. So that's very, very important as coaches. Okay? Baka nga, hindi nga kayo nagagalit pag nag-miss ng open shot, hindi kayo nagagalit, pero gumagano naman kayo. Yung body language yun naman ganun. Ito ganun din yun. How are you when your players miss shots? How are you when your players make mistakes? That's how you develop their confidence. For them to know that you are always there at their backs. So, some techniques to help your players develop confidence. Teach them how to visualize. Guess what? You cannot visualize unless you know how to breathe. You cannot visualize unless you are relaxed. Kaya napaka-importante yung step 1 natin, that relaxation, that breathing technique that is meant to relax the mind. Because when they are now relaxed, then they can visualize. So that's very, very important. So first, teach your players how to breathe so that they can be relaxed. Remember this, relaxed shooters are good shooters. Wala pa ako nakitang magaling shoot na hindi relaxed. Okay? So relaxed shooters are good shooters. Teach your players how to relax. Then they can visualize. And then also another technique you can use is what we call the power statement. I can do this. I've worked hard. I'm ready for this. As against hindi ako magkakamali ngayon. Sigurado magkakamali sila. So, reframe the statement. Make it a power statement, an affirmation. Okay? Pinagandaan ko to. Nag-practice ako ng maigi. Kaya ko to. So, learn how to do that and learn how to do that for yourself as coaches. Okay? Resilience, confidence, and when I talk of confidence, that guy in the background, Ray Nambata. When we lost Jason, the only way we would have a chance to win is for Ray Nambata to play a hell of a series. And what I said was, he struggled game 1, struggled game 2, hit the game winner in game 3. Because after game 2, natalo kami, simple sinabi ko, Ray, kailangan ko si Stingray. Kailangan ko si Stingray. I don't need Ray Nambata, I need Stingray. How do I develop his confidence? During a game, minsan titingin siya sa bench, sabi niya, Coach, anong play? Sasabihin ko, di ko alam, bahala ka. It's up to you. Ikaw ang nandyan eh. By doing that, I am showing him how much confidence I have in him. So what do you do, coaches, with your players? Those things, the words that you use, give them a lot of confidence. And fortunately, it worked. Nambata played a hell of a series, and he ended up being the MVP of the finals. Resilience, confidence, and finally, focus. How to be mentally tough? You've got to have focus. That's very, very important. And focus is not about shutting off the distractions. That's almost impossible. Focus is about your energy on what matters most. What matters the most? So, what is your role as coaches? Okay? Tell them, parang kanina dun pag ninenervyos, same thing with performance anxiety. That is normal. Okay lang yan. That performance anxiety before a game, that's normal. So, relax. Relax. Okay? And I'm sure you're all aware of the incident between Poy Eram and myself during Game 5. At sinabi ng mga tao, wala na, talo na itong talk and text, may internal watak-watak na. Sinabi pa ni Homer Sison, wala na, tapos. And to top it all, Tim Cone is coaching the pants out of Chot Reyes, severely outcoached. So sabi ko, if I am outcoached but we win championships, I can be outcoached any day of the week. Every day ma-outcoach na ako, okay lang. So, that's what happened because Poy Eram is a person who really he suffers from performance anxiety. And so we do a lot of things, okay, to be able to help Poy get through that. And the most important thing, we normalize it and he knows that his teammates are there to help him. Next, simplify things. One game at a time, one play at a time, one focus point at a time. When do we do it the most? Our pre-game talk. And I don't know if you have that in your teams, pero kami, our pre-game talk is very specific. Okay? We focus on what is our strategic intent. Okay? Our strategic intent, let us make sure that only 2 or 3 double-figure scorers from the other team. Okay? And then we take a look at the numbers. Ano bang percentage nila? Sino bang gumagawa? All of these things, we take a look at that. And then we focus on 2 or 3 keys. 2 or 3 keys only. Yun lang ang nakasulat sa board. Hindi yung mga ibang board, dami nakasulat, hanggang pasahid nakasulat, totaling ko. Paano mababasa yung lahat yun? Not only paano nila mababasa, pero paano nila matatandaan? And how can they focus if it is too scattered and it's too much for them to understand and remember? So simplify your drills, your offense, your defense, simplify. That's how you're able to create, to allow them to be more focused. Okay? And then there is a mental technique that we use that we call it cue control. Tune into the goal. In our breathing, a lot of times when we're breathing before the game, I tell them, okay, now that your minds are cleared, I want you now to visualize, see yourselves in your shooting motion. And I want you to see in your minds very clearly the ball going through the hoop. And I want you to hear it. Swish after swish after swish. When I do that, that's my way of giving some oral clues. So cues, a lot of cues can help them focus a lot more. Okay, so it's very, very important, okay, that when you talk about focus, you are able to make them concentrate and zoom in on what is the goal. Okay, what is the goal? What is the most important thing for us here? Play Ginebra, our goal, when we play Rain or Shine, our goal, di bali nang mag 40 points yung import nila. Pero hindi pwedeng bumente si Nokum, hindi pwedeng bumente si their point guard, hindi pwedeng bumente si Chongson, all of those others. So very focused, isa lang ang dapat nasa isip nila. As much as simple as possible, tune in. So what can we do? What techniques? We use, kanina I told you the 3-breath reset, but that is for relaxing. Okay, for focus, we use box breathing. I'm sure narinig nyo na ito. This is the technique used by the Navy SEALs. Before every mission, every Navy SEAL is trained to do box breathing. 5 counts inhale, 5 counts hold, 5 counts exhale, 5 counts hold. We do that in Gilas, we do that in our teams in Talk and Text. And that's what we use as a very good focusing tool. So we do 3 cycles of the box breathing. That's 1 minute. Doesn't have to be very long. 1 minute, that's done. 5 times 4, that's 20, is 1 cycle, 20 seconds. We do 3 cycles, 60 seconds, 1 minute, we're done. So we use box breathing. Okay, we have a focus anchor. Our focus anchor, a lot of times, is our breath. So we focus on the rise and fall of our stomach. So when we're doing our breathing, baka maingay sa labas, baka daming iniisip ng players, I tell them, okay, let it go, don't shut it off, recognize that that distraction is there, but go back to your anchor. Go back to whether the rise and fall of your stomach or the air coming out of your nostrils, whatever that is, make sure that your players have a focus anchor. And finally, make as much as possible, encourage them to meditate. 5-10 minutes every morning. If you do this, then you are able to sharpen their focus. Just like this guy. Sayang, Kobe is talking about, his words actually are, I meditate every day. I meditate every day. It is like, it centers me. It gets me prepared for whatever the day has in store for me. So again, pinakita ko kanina, LeBron James doing breathing. Kobe Bryant talking about meditation. If these elite athletes are doing it, why not your athletes? Right? So, we talked about resilience, we talked about confidence, we talked about focus. Okay? What can we do as coaches? We need to create the environment. We need to create the environment for mental toughness to occur. What does that mean? Some practical tips. Again, your vibe sets their mindset. Your vibe. You are the emotional barometer of your team. Pag natataranta ka, natataranta din sila. Pag nagpapanik ka, napapanik din sila. But if you are relaxed, if you are purposeful, if you are deliberate, if you are calm, then that settles down your players. So remember that. practice positive relational energy. That's how we dealt with the Poy Erong issue. After the incident, we didn't even have to talk about it. I just made sure that I practice positive relational energy. That when I come to practice, business as usual. We did not even have to talk about it. And I made sure that I even started Poy in Game 6. Previous to that, he wasn't starting any of the finals games. And then that incident happened. What I did, I started Poy in Game 6. So positive relational energy. Make sure that you are always bringing this kind of energy, this vibe, this aura to your practices. Di ba sabi ko kanina, good news, bad news. Right? Some practical tips. Okay? You have to role model the calmness. You have to role model mental toughness. If you can keep your head when everyone around you is losing theirs, what a special gift for all basketball coaches. If you can keep your head when everyone is losing theirs, there is no more powerful message that you can give to your players than any words that you can speak, aside from your actual behavior. Our players are always watching us. You cannot fool them. They can smell us a mile away. Be emotionally intelligent. That means encourage self-awareness. Ask yourself, your players every day as much as possible. Kumusta ka? What do you feel? What can you do? What do you want to do? How are you feeling today? Okay? These are the things that are encouraging them to reflect and think about their own self. Our players, a lot of times, they're kind of disillusioned. You have to be able to promote self-awareness in them. Stay connected. Job number one of any leader, any coach, is to forge strong, trust-based relationships with your people. One-on-one, strong relationships. And stay connected with them. That means you are creating an environment, what we call in our industry, it's a psychologically safe environment. When you know and your players know that you're important to them, that their voice is heard, they belong to this team. That's very important to the players, especially the bench warmers, those who are hardly playing. We have to make sure that we stay connected to them as well. Learn to read the room. Very, very important for coaches. You may have a game plan prepared, maybe you have a speech prepared, but when you enter, iba yung energy. When you enter, I don't like the body language of my players. Are you still going to go ahead with your speech? Are you still going to go ahead with your spiel? Or are you going to ask the question, I feel there's something wrong, what's going on? And be prepared, be very honest and open to ask those questions. And finally, there is no substitute for preparation. Prepare. Because before coming here, I had my deck prepared. I had this thing prepared, but I was constantly preparing. I'm not memorizing what I say, but I'm just preparing and constantly rehearsing the flow, the train of thought. Is there a cohesive story that I'm telling to these coaches today? So that preparation is very, very important. So that when the crisis occurs, when the adversity occurs, then you are ready. Because you've seen this already, you know this is a possibility, you know that struggle is real. And I'm sure you saw this, right? The last 16 seconds of regulation of the last game. Kaka 3 points lang ni Brownlee to tie the ball game.
They will trust Ronde.
This is for the championship.
RHJ against Stephen Holt. Running the clock.
There was a miscommunication between Nambatak and Ronde. Ends up in a bad shot.
Won't be answered. And we are going
Palpak.
overtime.
That's what we've been talking about all the time, right? The adversity, the resilience. But take a look. Di ako nagalit. Di ako nagwala. Di ako nagdabog. Di ako nanigaw. I smiled and I told Ronde, libre, pass the ball. Relax. We came to the huddle. Everyone was worried. Sabi na, wala na, talo na tayo dito. I said, no. This is overtime. We have 5 minutes. We got this. How you act in these moments speaks volumes more than what you say. Let me end with a call to action for everyone. Master the inside game. Because when you master the inside game, the outside wins. And your challenge for every coach here, in your next practice, okay? Pick a technique and try it with your team. Sa practice wag sa game. Matidiscourage siya, ba't bigla natin ginawa itong breathing na to? Matataranta yung players natin to. Okay? Sa practice. Okay? Wag sa game. Okay? And remember, tough minds make tough athletes. Okay? And in the end, what I've learned is that leadership, there is an art to leadership and there is a science to leadership. But the most important thing is the heart for leadership. The most important thing is what goes on inside. Master the inside game and watch your victories multiply. Thank you very much.
A message from Coach, champion coach, Sir Chris. Thank you for watching.